Oh, hello friends. So I was just reading a book called The Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli. It's a Renaissance material written by an Italian post 15th century. Here, what we get is like how to make the blueprint of a state. But right now, my intention is not to talk about this Renaissance material. What I wish to talk to you is about how the state formation may take place in Afghanistan, in which way. And we all know, now the Taliban has taken over Kabul. It's not a good thing for India because a triad of China, Pakistan, and Afghanistan that is being backed by Taliban is not a good thing for India. So, since I was looking into this book, I was just thinking about a few things about Taliban that can be of use to the Indian government or anybody who is interested in how the polity is made. So, like Taliban, first of all, I might have told in the other video about their Pashtun origin, their tribals. They are basically the hill tribes who have come down and taken the power. They have been there for a long time. If you look into the historical figures like Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, who was a staunch supporter of Gandhi, who was also known as the Frontier Gandhi. He was also from northwestern frontier provinces. He was also a Pashtun. So, Taliban, you have to understand, the word itself means students. See, it is not a single entity, right? It's a group, and they take decisions with the help of the Shura Council, where it's a bunch of the elders or the group will come together and do their kind of a voting, and then they take decisions very similar to kind of a Shura Council that you see in the earlier Sunni governments. So this Afghan theory of kingship was not only an innovation of Taliban, it was there earlier also. If you look into the Sultanate, if you remember the Lodi Sultans who had ruled from 1451 to 1526, you had the Bahlul Lodi, the Sikandar Lodi, and Ibrahim Lodi. And Ibrahim Lodi was defeated by Babur. And lately also there is a brief gap of Mughal Empire from around 1540 to 1555. You see the Sur dynasty by Sher Shah Suri. He is also Afghan. So what I am trying to say to you is like Afghan power was in India earlier also. I mean the Indian mainland that we are looking into now. But when we look into the pure Afghan power during the time of Sultanate, we hear about this kind of a tribal theory of kingship or the Afghan theory of the kingship, which did not enable them to build a big empire. Because Taliban, as many other forces, doesn't believe in democracy. They believe in arm fist or arm tight power, political control through bloodshed. So basically a kind of a medieval mindset and attitude. So, but at the same time, this was the same thing with the Delhi Sultans like Lodhis. But they also could not bring out a very powerful empire because a very powerful central figure was absent in them. And the tribal theory did not allow them to be like a very central powerful figure. That means the Sultan or the main ruler was just like one among the equals. That means others also has a say. So, it's very evident that we don't find a supreme leader like Mullah Muhammad Omar, which was with Taliban earlier. There is a good chance that there can be made fissures among them. And this is where India has to play its card really well. So like whatever happens, if imagine a situation India is actually diplomatically engaging with Taliban, that will be a slap on our face. Because if a situation arises where a wanted criminal is being sent to India as an ambassador to Taliban, I think India will lose its face. Now India is chairing the United Nations Security Council, and there has been no tight words on Taliban that has been used. But you have to understand, supporting Taliban is not going to be of India's interest at any cost. Because we knew how the Taliban regime was earlier. And we know that now they are trying to paint themselves a rosy picture. But this is the same thing that they had done in 1996, the first time they came to the power. And they do it just to get the sympathy from the outside world. Because we know that just by applying some soaps, the rosettes of a leopard or a jaguar cannot be withdrawn. So similarly, you don't expect Taliban to be out of a way becoming the doves of peace. So we have to understand, and we should stop being ourselves a confused nation. That means we can support some people in Afghanistan, and they are the earlier Northern Alliance, and now they are actually fighting in the Panjshir Valley. They are actually controlling quite a few districts there. So if you look into the map of Afghanistan, like if it is clearly projected in the screen, you can see that there is a Wakhan corridor that's a very thin strip. That's actually Wakhan National Park, that is ranging from the Afghan, and it is actually touching the Indian border. But right now we don't technically control that border because that is POKs, the border with the POK. So very unfortunately we don't have POK with us, like although we claim it, technically it is with Pakistan. So that is one thing. And how we can support the Panjshir Valley, that can be done through Tajikistan, because Tajikistan is like actually geographically close to it, and we have an airbase, the Aini airbase in Tajikistan, and we can provide the Northern Alliance the support. But the difficult situation is like that the Taliban is much stronger than what it was earlier, and it is being supported by countries like Russia or China, with which it wants to do the business. So India is in a tricky situation, but history was always proven that this Afghan theory of kingship, or the tribal theory of kingship, will create difficulties for Taliban, and which can be exploited. And we should also understand that supporting Taliban will not help us in the long run, because we will be losing our allies, and we will be losing our regional interest, and we will actually sacrifice our basic ideology also. So that is not going to help in the long run. And the Northern Alliance should be strengthened, and I hope that the fissures within the Taliban can act as a self-destructing machine, and it will be in the longer run will be beneficial for the people of Afghanistan and also for the region as a whole. So that's all I wanted to talk to you. Thank you, and let me continue reading this book. Thank you for listening.